My name is Jeremy Brown. We're going to be going over the Walthers kit, Northern Light and Power, 933-3021. Um, this is going off of a clinic that I gave at the Lansing Model Railroad Club, and just wanted to tape it because it's a little bit better here than when I actually gave the clinic. Anyway, when you open it up, you want to take everything out of the box. Take a look at it. That's what I've got here. Got everything that was in the box. Got the instruction sheet, the decals. They're usually right in the center of your instruction sheet when you get it. Anyway, just kind of take a look at it. Familiarize yourself. If you put kits together before, you'll kind of get an idea. But if it's your first time, this kit, we're not adding any details to it. We're building it as it is. It's just Structures 101. Anyway, I'll also include it in part of this too. First thing is read through. You've always got a lot of great information about what the building is that you purchased, some different ideas, and then it goes into the instructions on how to construct it. Read through them, and that way you can kind of get an idea, familiarize yourself with the kit itself. So we're going to do that. We're just going to take a look. This is our base here, and pretty self-explanatory. We have some wall sections. Looks like some interior pieces. Here's our other two outside wall sections here. Our windows. Set those aside because we won't need those right now. We have our roof pieces here. And we'll set those also to the side. Our windows and doors. Two, looks like pretty much almost two the exact same. And because I read through the instructions, we also have two interior walls here. And show that in here. Actually, we've got one interior wall. They gave us an extra. So, we'll set that aside, and we could probably use it for something else later on. Never throw the, the fact they gave you an extra, I've never seen that. So we've got an extra interior wall section. So we'll put that in our stockpile to possibly use for some other project. Okay, now that we've looked at the pieces, what you want to do is you want to start putting this together into arrangements of how you want to paint them. Yes, as you can tell, you can tell it's kind of we got like a brick color here, and I've already cheated. I've already painted the base, aged concrete. You can tell there, you can see what the original color was. You can tell it's kind of a concrete color. And the windows, they're already gray, as you can tell, and so is the roof is already black. Now, can you put it together this way without painting it? Yes, you can. But if you really, I highly recommend that you paint it. To really make a good kit look good, you got to paint it. You've already spent the money on the kit. You're already going to be spending the time putting it together. You might as well do it right. You don't have to do it. As it shows here in the box, you can tell it's they got really nice detail. You can tell that the brick doesn't even, that's in the picture, doesn't even match the color that's with the kit. They've painted the windows. You can tell they've actually did little individual bricks. They painted them to give you the nice details. They also, the bottoms of your windows here, and some concrete trim work here, they painted all those separately. So you can tell they definitely took their time and detailed it, and made it look really good. So then that's what we're also going to be doing with this kit. And we'll go over airbrushing over in a different part of this video. Looks like also here we have there's an extra one here. Looks like an extra ring here. We want to make sure we don't lose that. Want to be careful of the small parts. They can always kind of, you can see how that's barely on there, and sometimes they'll fall off. Anyway, all right, so we're going to start constructing stuff according to the colors that we want to paint. Oh, this here is the, since I haven't seen it, I'm assuming it's a smokestack. Yep, there she is. All right, there's her smokestack. It's really nice, solid one piece there. So we'll set that to the side. And then go in the garbage. Alright, so we'll start with our wall sections. First we want to get them all cut out. Like this one I've already got done here. So we'll go ahead. The tools, I am not going to go over the tools. Because that's part of another paper that I've already got done. Takes too much time to go over them. But on there it has links to where you can get them and so forth. Anyway, we're going to get our sprue nippers here, and we're going to cut our pieces out. They usually come out pretty easily, but if not, I've got some Xuron nippers here. Kind of get a little bit better cut on some of these. Alright, there's that one. This plastic is recyclable, in case you're wondering. So you can just put it in a pile and into a box of recyclables, and you can dump it off in your plastic recycling. Alright. We'll get these done. These rail nippers work really great. And this thicker styrene to get these cut off. There we go. Be careful on some of the small parts. Like these door edges here. And here's that ring. I want to make sure we don't lose that. Looks like it goes on top of the smokestack. Okay, done with those. Alright, next thing you want to do is an X-Acto knife. I just change the blade every time I put together a kit. We'll look inside the window. Sometimes some of the windows got some flashing in it. I don't know if you can see it right here. But we'll just get this, gently run it in there, clean that stuff out. Got some more up here. Okay. We'll look at the other pieces here, see if there's any other ones. Okay. Now we're gonna clean off all of the marks that the sprues left. I'm gonna bring this a little bit closer. I'm sure you can see one here. I'm sure you can see one like right here. You can see different things that the sprues have left on here. Here's another one. Anyway, I use you can use metal files, but I like using these fingernail files. We got a coarse, medium, and fine. It says it right on them. You can get these at Sally's Beauty Supplies, where I get them. And anyway, we'll get the blue one. I use the blue one the most, the medium. And we'll want to clean all that off. Just a little bit there. Just a little, just a tad bit. Kind of just get the high side off of it. You gotta be careful, because once you take something off, you can't put it back on. And you need to tell, the top of this is actually beveled, it's rounded. So you gotta pay attention to the detail that you see in the kit itself. Yeah, you want to get these sanded down because when you paint it, the paint will show every little detail. And if you didn't get something sanded right, it's going to show. Anyway, okay, now to do our flat surfaces. I have a little contraption here that I built, a couple pieces of plywood. I know it's a true 90-degree angle. Got a angle device here, but you can build one. It's not that hard, but you just want to make sure it's a true 90. It's just got a couple screws back here, and then it's probably tough to tell, but I have a small little slot in the center there to be able to slide. This is 320 grit sandpaper. Slide it back in here. I just have a couple clips. One of them I already broke the handle on, but it still works. It's gonna go. But anyway, this is so you can get a true bottom. You get your piece, put it up against, hold it, just slide it back and forth. Don't put a lot of down pressure, just slide it back and forth so you get a good even sanding. It doesn't take much, especially for the 320 grit sandpaper. There we go. Alright, now these pieces have a beveled 45-degree here, and that way we can get nice real crisp corners on the brickwork here. As you can tell, both sides have it, and you're able to get a real nice crisp clean look. These ones here, we will actually take, instead of doing them on the board, we'll actually take a file, do a file and do this. The medium on this is 220 grit. So it's actually a little bit more aggressive. And there's also 2 different grits on each one of these files. Then we'll just gently take off any little rough edge that we want a nice, good, clean gluing surface. Alright, that is done. Now, we're ready to actually begin some assembly. Now, when looking at the instructions, we want to look at, we're going to actually start putting some of the walls together, so we're actually going to kind of jump almost right to here. We're going to hold off on putting in the windows, and I'll explain later why. So we're going to put the 4 outside walls together. In this case here, it is number 3, 2, 4, and 4. We are not going to glue them to the base yet. We're just putting the 4 walls together. So let's go ahead and start on that. And we also have 2 different pieces here. We have one with a front door. This one does not have a front door. And if you, again, that's why you read through the instructions. If you look here, the smokestack will go on the end wall without a small door. And so since we know that, so we'll get our base here. Let's go this way with it. And we're going to put our front door on this end, and the piece without the front door on this end here. And we know that we'll get one of our wall pieces here, and that's going to go in that. So what we're going to do, we're going to start gluing some of these. Now you can use 10X, 10X7R. I use it quite often. Problem is the stuff dries fast. You want to make sure you get a good job here. So there's 2 other types of glues I use. I got Fowler Expert plastic cement. This is really great stuff. It's a plastic welder, just like 10X7R. Whoops, I lost the cap. Except it doesn't dry as very fast. And it's really neat because it's actually got styrene in the glue itself. Another one that I use a lot is Plastruct. They're plastic weld. This stuff's great. It's just like 10X, except it definitely dries faster than your Fowler Expert cement, but it doesn't dry as fast as the 10X7R. And you get a lot more here. What do we got? 2 fluid ounces versus 1 fluid ounce, I believe it is, with 10X, and it's only $5. I just bought this a couple months ago, so that price is accurate. For these wall pieces, we're going to be using the Plastruct plastic weld here. Anyway, also it's got a nice applicator brush on it, where 10X does not. Alright, so we're going to get some of this. Just going to put a little bit in here. And we'll have to run over it several times. I may switch over to the Fowler Neat cement. We'll see how or Expert, not Neat cement. You just get it. I just gotta put a little bead on it. Okay. And get a little bit, put it on this piece. You want to put it on both sides that you're gluing together. And I'll put a little bit more on this end. Yeah, this stuff's drying too fast. I got it too warm in the basement. Okay. Then we'll put the 2 together. Yeah, it's getting. I think we'll actually get a good one. I'm gonna run a little bit down here. actually put some down in the joint itself. Again, you want to reinforce it as much as you can. Walthers has some pretty good kits here as far as thickness of their material. So inside corner bracing isn't really needed. But you want to make sure you get especially since these got some nice detailed corners, just push and hold it, make sure it seals up. Get a nice good seal in there. So what this glue does, it actually liquefies the plastic and then welds it. And that's why once they're together, it's a really nice, strong bond. And okay, now we still got time to work with it. It's together, but it's not solid. We're going to get our X-Acto precision edge, and now this one's a little tough because it's got some extra stuff in it, but we want to make sure this thing is square. So we're going to put it right here in the roof line and make sure that that edge is nice and square. And the same thing down here in the base, to try to find a corner here where, man, this is tough to do. Okay. Alright. Now we'll keep that top one in there. Set this off this side for a few minutes. And then we'll do these two here. So this is our other end. Here's our other wall piece. So we know we need to glue these two ends here together. So I'll use the Faller Expert on this one. Alright. It's gummed up. Watch happens. See if I can find another bottle of it. Okay, this joint we're going to use the Expert cement on. That's one of the problems with this. It sometimes gets plugged up. And what you'll need is a very thin brass wire. What is this one? This is 15 thousandths. And it goes right inside. Just poke through and it'll be fine. Alright, set that up there. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get ourselves a nice bead of this going. And that's what I like about this. You actually got some working time here. Then we're going to put the two pieces together just like we did on the other one. Now with this stuff, you can just sit there and hold it, or what I like to do is actually rub it back and forth a little bit to get that plastic melting just a little bit. You want to wipe off any excess really quickly, because it will actually start melting your outside detail. Okay. And just like with the other one, I'm going to do the same thing. Make sure we got it squared. There we go. I actually got a bigger square here. Okay. There. It's looking good, looking good. Alright, we're going to give that a couple of minutes to do its thing. Alright, now while this one's drying, just like to keep it there so I know I got it squared. Okay, we're going to put this inside wall in here. If you look at the directions, you can see where this inside wall goes in, and then we temporarily place our two constructed walls on our base, and then we know where this wall needs to go on the inside here. So we know that it needs to go right down in these grooves here, so I'll add some more. This stuff seems to be working the best for this kit. So add some more Fowler Expert cement. There we go. And then put it right in those grooves there. I always like to slide the pieces just to get that plastic welding and get some good adhesion. And hold this in place for a little while. As you can tell, it starts to set up fairly fast. Okay. This goes for all kits. You want to you don't want to try to complete the entire thing in one setting. Sometimes you can get to gluing away, and you just need to let the parts sit and actually let the glue cure, and otherwise your kit could possibly fall apart as you're trying to. You just get too much, and sometimes it just needs time. But we're good to go here, so we're going to go ahead. Yeah, see? Right there, like I was just saying. Definitely using this glue on this joint because, or on this gluing, because we need time. We got a lot of pieces to put together here. Okay, got glue on those pieces. Interior walls. Take a little bit longer than I thought it would. kind of cure up. Okay. Put some glue in these. Alright, now we're ready to get this bad boy put together here. Notice, like I said before, I like to rub the corners to, or rub the joints together with the Walthers cement. Seems to give a better weld, better gluing job on the corner or on your pieces, and make sure they're put together nicely, so that way you got nice, good, clean corners. There's no gaps. You don't want to see any gaps, because then you got to work on filling them in. You got to sand them, and that's tough, especially if you got like this brick detail. So I'm gonna check our other corner here. Yeah, see, you can tell we've got some gaps here. I want to make sure those get put together and held together. And that's one of the other things that's nice about the Walthers Expert cement. It doesn't set up right away. You've got working time. Even if you got the pieces together, you still can get these things done and put together. And don't worry too much about the corners. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to let this thing dry overnight. Besides, this is all the pieces that we wanted to put together. This whole thing is getting painted the same color at first. Then I'm going to detail it, such as painting the tops here. And I'll show you that a little bit detail. I'm going to paint them a little bit of detail in different colors. However, our main base coat is going to be the same brick color all the way around. So that is it for this piece. So make sure I've got everything square. I'm going to go ahead and make sure there is no glue that went and squeezed out of the corners or anywhere, because we are not gluing this to the base yet. That will be at a later time. But we'll put it on here just to make sure that make sure our building's square, and that way yeah, we got it real good. It's real nice and square, and there we go. Okay, we're going to wait. Like I said, we're going to let that sit overnight and dry. Now, based on these pieces here, according to the instructions, go on the inside. They're roof supports. I'll go ahead and cut one out, and we'll see what I mean. These roof supports go in here like this, just like that. Those would not be concrete color. These would actually be a silver or steel, or you can paint them. You can paint them black, but most of the time, they definitely wouldn't be cement. So they'd be metal, steel construction for these. So we'll end up just cutting these out, cleaning up where the connections were on the sprues on these three pieces, and then setting these guys in their own pile for one other color. So there's my steel color here. Also on here, We got some other part numbers. We got some smokestack parts that will be concrete color, and so we'll save that. Paint those concrete. We'll also cut these out, but we'll do that later. Okay, windows. We want to paint the window frames all the same color. We'll also paint the windows right on the sprue. Makes it easier that way. However, the doors, the overhead doors, we're not going to do it in that color. So we're going to cut that out, that overhead door. Again, we still have to clean these up. We're going to file them. And then got a real nice double door here. But I think I'm going to put an overhead door on each end. As the beauty is, you can use either one for each end. Each end here, end opening, depending on what you would like there, and so that's a real nice feature there that they have available for you. And yeah, I'm going to go with basically like a roll-up door on each end. So we'll go ahead and paint all of this the same color. So we're done with this one. This is ready to be painted. And we'll do the same thing with the other one. There we go. Okay, those are ready to be painted. Okay, roof details. I'll end up repainting the roof, even though it's black. I'm still going to hit it with black again. So we'll go ahead and cut those out. And put these in my paint black pile. And yeah, this is, here we got some roof vents here that need to be glued yet and put together, and we'll go ahead and what we'll keep is light colors that we're going to paint together. These piles here need to be constructed yet, and either put together and sanding and both. We will get our files here and start sanding. All right, we're back at it. I've got everything sanded. You got the little vent pieces. Got those glued to put together. So those have to finish drying, and then they got to sand. Now what we're going to do is do the cleaning up touches on the building after we glued it together. We get the very fine file here, 600 grit is the finest on this. I'm going to lightly clean up these corners here. So just real gently clean them up a little. Because you don't want to sand off the brick detail, but you want to clean it up so that way it flows nicely. It looks like it's one solid seamless piece. you'll notice it when you paint it. You'll see whether or not you got a nice good seam there or not. Anyway, we're going to continue doing that for the other three corners, and then this building here will be ready to be painted. We'll also do the same thing. We're going to sand the roof vents as well, and then everything will be ready to go and time to hit the paint booth. Good evening, everyone. Alright, we're back to painting again. As you can see here, I've got the building now. Got the smokestack as well inside my paint booth. I'm going to quickly go over what I have here for painting, and just don't mind the mess. Anyway, I'll try to back out here as far as I can. What I have for ventilation is I've got myself a range hood that is got it vented to the outside. Yeah, you probably can't see too well there. There we go. And anyway, it works really good. It's got 2 fan speeds. It's just a cheapo model. The key with this range hood is it's got to be able to be vented outside. You can see where I've got the vent hooked up in the back. You got to take a look and make sure that the one you get is vented, has a vent port there. It'll be covered up. You'll have to punch out a steel chunk, but it's already perforated, so you can see exactly how to hook it up. As you can see, it does have 2x2 walls. One of them happens for the front and the back, and then I have a couple 2x4s. You can see these top 2x4 braces here. They connect to 2x4 braces along the back. That's what actually the range hood is actually attached to. So it's sitting on these small skinny walls and also attached to the 2x4 on top, and I've never had an issue with it. So anyway, that's kind of the skinny of the paint booth. I actually use an air compressor. I have a Craftsman, what is it, 1.5 gallons. It's just a small little air compressor, but it works great. When doing this, you have to do a couple things. One, you got to have a water trap. That's this guy right here. As the air moves through, it goes through this filter in here, and then it traps the water, and then you can release the water periodically through the bottom of here. Then it goes through a desiccant dryer right through here. These are from Harbor Freight. They're like $7-8. Just get a couple of them. Now you see how it's pink? That means I need to change it. If you can, I'll zoom in here. There you go. You can tell it's pink. What you could do is you could take these apart and you dry this silica in your oven at like 200 degrees, and it will turn a deep blue. When it does, that means it's ready to go, and you can hook it back up. So that's why I have 2 of them. I just alternate between the 2 when one turns pink, and dry them out. Anyway, just got a few quick disconnect fittings. Then I have my hose to my airbrush just hooked up right here. Makes it easy just to have a quick disconnect. And then I got my airbrush hanging there, and other accessories that I use. Alright, now we'll put this back on the tripod and we'll go to painting. Okay, just in case anyone asks, I'll answer the question now. I use a Pache single stage airbrush. I airbrush at about 60 psi. I know a lot of people are going to be, oh my god, 60 psi. But it's unbelievable. The paint almost dries instantly as soon as it touches the model. And it's really great. You get really nice, thin, nice, even coats. And anyway, I paint open cup. I do not recommend it for beginners. One little accident, next thing you know, you've got paint everywhere. Takes a lot of practice, but that's just a method I prefer, and that's just a personal preference. So I'm going to be painting the main brick build of this building using Focal Rust. I use all enamel paints, all Focal and Model Master paint. One of these days I'll probably move on over to the acrylics, but I haven't. So water-based. So a little bit better for you. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna crank the fan up here, and we'll get brushing. So this is just a watch. You're not gonna hear me talk much. Alright, we're going to stop right there for a second. You can see the difference already and how much better it already looks. And I'll end up continuing to painting it. You want to make sure you get inside the windows and on the back side here on the cracks. I'm also going to paint all the inside the same color as well. I'm not going to detail the interior of this building, but this building here is a real easy one to do the interior. So you have to make sure, also, not only are you picking your colors on the outside, but if you decide to detail the interior, you're also going to decide your colors on the inside as well. And here's what it did look like. And now you can see the, get it in the light a little better. You can see the difference. Anyway, we will continue painting that. We'll paint the smokestack here. We'll paint our windows. We're going to paint those focal dust. It's almost it's like an opaque white almost. And like I mentioned, this is focal rust. So rust and dust. Then I'm going to actually detail with painting some of the little individual bricks by hand once it's all done. And then once it's completely done, I'll hit it with a flat coat. And for flat finish, I use a 50-50 mix of Tester's Dull Coat Lacquer. What is this? $4 for a big bottle of it here. 1 3/4 ounces. And then I mix it 50-50 with Tester's Universal Enamel Thinner. You can get it at Hobby Lobby, get your 40% off coupon, so you get a good deal on that as well. And I just have an old bottle here that I mix it in half and half, 50-50, and works great for airbrushing. Otherwise, it's too thick. You can see once you get it all mixed up, it's pretty thick, almost a little, not quite as thick as pancake syrup, but it's pretty close. Okay, we're back at it. We got everything painted. As you can tell here, got the building painted. It definitely looks different now with the paint on here. Also, I masked it off, painted the bottom concrete color. Then I went a little bit further, and we'll go into that detail. Yeah, I painted all the window sills by brush. Same thing here, the little detail. Also, different individual bricks, painted those. You can see this side here. Yeah, these 3 sides here are done. Then got all of our other small pieces done. Parts and pieces for these are the steel rafters holding up the roof, and these parts here go on the inside. These are this kit's really nice because it's got Walthers has got detail parts to detail the inside of it. As you can tell on the base, it's already got spots here for different parts that they have for their detail kit that's separate from this kit. Also, they have a overhead crane that you can put inside of here, and that's what I've already glued a couple of these in. That's what that mounts to, is the overhead crane. And you don't have to put this wall in. This is also an option. It's optional. Now, it does give it some stability, but if you want the crane to go all the way across, or there's a lot of different things you can do with this kit. It's a really nice kit that Walthers has done. It's been one of their more famous kits. Got the smokestack done. Did the same thing. Painted a few of the individual bricks. You can tell we got the cement cap on, and already glued the base on here, just to give it a little stability, so because it kept wanting to fall down. Okay, what we're going to go into. Oh yeah, and the windows here. Yeah, I got those all done, and what we're going to do is explain a little bit of what it was that I did on this. Got a couple brushes here I'm using for painting the brick. You got to have one of these visors to be able to see them, unless you got Superman vision. But this little brush that I use is this is a 20-0 brush. You can get them at Hobby Lobby and Michael's, 40% off coupon. Their brushes go on sale quite often. And these are good quality brushes. I mean, get some good ones. You just need to take care of them. This one here is a 18-0 brush. Anyway, for painting, we'll actually, as you can tell here, you can see this top crown. I hand painted the side of it. The tops of it, I airbrushed it. I just masked it off with your blue painter's tape. It's the cheaper out of the ones. I mean, you can use the green, doesn't matter, but this stuff I find it doesn't take the paint off. Make sure before you start masking, once let's say like it looks like it's done here, you need to let it dry at least 12 hours to cure. Just because it's dry doesn't mean the paint is cured. So what we'll do is we'll go through here and paint a little bit of this up. What I do is I got some cardboard here, some cardstock, I guess you could call it. This one's full coat concrete, and I also have, I'm not sure where you would get them, but these disposable pipettes. You can clean them up and use them over and over. Anyway, I just like to get a little bit of paint, put a little on my cardstock. It makes it easier. Instead of trying to dip the brush inside the bottle, it's easier just to dip the brush in a little blob of paint. This is great for any kind of detail work. If you paint your own figures or whatever. So it's a great way to do it. This cardstock came out of empty ammo cans. So I'll get the 18-0 brush and just put a little bit on there. And what I'll do here is I'm going to zoom in on this here. Okay, hopefully we'll be able to see right there. No, probably not. Alright, hopefully you can see that zoomed in right. Okay, what we'll do is just gently, little by little, remember, use the paintbrush to barely put a little paint on there and just gently gently move the paint along. Don't worry about trying to get it in one coat. You won't. Reason you won't get it is, one, you start putting too much paint on there, and next thing you know, you went all over the brick. So you gotta go back and touch up the brick. One thing to remember too, if it looks good under this visor, it's definitely going to look good with the naked eye. So yeah, is gently little by little. Use the paintbrush to push the paint. Don't try to squeeze all the paint out of the paintbrush, because that's when you make an oops. Now usually on the bricks, one coat will do. It's already tedious enough to try to do it. Now I've been working on this building. It took me a couple evenings to do the bricks. Just because you got to walk away after a little while, because it just starts going. You start going nuts with this, constantly looking underneath this visor. But I mean, the thing that's nice about Walthers kits is there's a lot of detail already there. Just a lot of times you got to use paint. You know, take your time. Use your paint to highlight that detail. That's okay. We got done painting all the detail on it now. All the concrete edging is done. Got a couple coats on that, and so now we're actually ready to start putting in the detail. Take my ring off there so I don't scratch it. All right, not the ring, the model. Okay, what we're gonna do is gonna put these steel supports in, and so we're gonna use a little bit of Fowler Expert cement here, and just put a little bead on the back side of it here, and there we go. I don't know if you can see there. Not very much. You don't need much. The trick, like I mentioned earlier with this, you can see the areas here that they go in, and also in the instructions. But when you're applying this, I found that you got to slide your pieces a couple of times back and forth to kind of get that adhesion, the plastic, to start melting to one another. Yeah, it does take a little bit longer for this glue to set up and dry, but it gives you a substantial longer working time. So anytime you got any big pieces like this, or when we put the roof on, it becomes extremely handy, because yeah, 10X just dries way too fast. And the Plastruct, their plastic welder, is in the same boat. They both dry really quickly. Have a very quick evaporation time. All right, one more here. So I had already previously glued in 3 of them. Okay, last one. Okay, those are in. Alright, now we'll work on actually, we're going to wait on the rafters. We're actually going to work on the windows. Painted them on both sides here, and so you get your plastic nippers here, because this is thin enough. You see, front side's a little closer to the plastic. Sometimes you gotta squeeze them really hard to get it to cut through, but okay, we have all our windows cut out, and we're going to start gluing them in. You can tell the edge, hopefully, try to get a little bit, whoops, try to get a little bit closer here. You'll notice there's a little bit of an edge here that the window sits in the back side of the front piece here. And you can just try them out for size, take a look, see where it is, where they're expecting you to glue it at, and then yep, just get a little bit using expert cement again because I need the time, and just gently put it a little small bead. I just usually drag the needle right along, just a little groove right there. Just barely squeeze, put a little bit of glue in there. You don't need much, and just get your window. I usually seat the bottom of it first, and then bring the top up, hold it for a few seconds, and you're good to go. Now, sometimes the fit's a little on the tight side. You'll kind of almost feel like the piece snaps, and and it's also audible. It sounds like the piece kind of snaps in, which is fine. DPM kits are notorious for that. Their windows are very tight tolerance. And just get in there, seat it good. Make sure, look around at the edges, make sure everything looks really good. Yeah, just apply medium pressure on it. Not much, just enough to hold it in there while the glue tries to set and adhere. Let the plastic adhere to each piece. Then I'll alternate, give the other ones time to settle on. Now this kit in particular, we'll talk about this kind of stuff. I would personally put this in the beginner category. If you're just starting out putting kits together, this is one of the easier ones to do. Again, you don't have to go to the extreme painting detail that I did, but you see how much nicer of a kit you end up, the model that you end up with, by taking the extra time and doing it. And don't feel in practice. If you mess up, it's no big deal. You can always airbrush the brick back to the same color and start all over again. And also, you know, it's a great way to practice is look for some cheap kit, either on Walthers, you know, if they got it on sale, or you see it at a train show. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't even matter if you're gonna ever even use it. But use it as a learning tool. And put it together, practice, try different techniques. Every person's going to have their own technique and on how they want to put together kits. You know, what I'm doing in this video is not the only way to be able to put together a kit. There's lots of different ways of doing it. It's just the way that I know, and it seems to work really well for me. There's other Walthers kits. They don't, I mean, it's not like putting together those plastic cars where they have, let's say, you know, they say hard, easy, or you know, expert, beginner, intermediate. That's just not done in the model railroad world on kits. Excuse me. Yeah, so like I said, this one is definitely a beginner. There's some other ones. Take Walthers. There's sanding tower. Their locomotive servicing, where you get the sanding towers. That I almost probably put almost in an expert category. There's a lot of very, very small parts, and so you have to. What's really What you really have to be careful on is when you're cutting the pieces off of those plastic sprues. Those really small parts are delicate, and they can very easily break. Now, one breaks, it doesn't mean the model is destroyed. Your kit's destroyed. You just have to take a little extra time and try to figure out on how I'm going to glue the pieces back together, and that way your kit looks really nice. So, I mean, everyone always has I mean, sometimes it's just inevitable. You're going to snap a piece here and there. It just happens. And but with this kit, there's no small pieces. The smallest pieces actually are these doors and windows. And they're not that small, as you can tell. So yeah, I usually sort out when it comes to windows. You know, just cut them all out. It's usually just by eyeball, and you can tell what goes where. But if you don't really know, if it's really complex, or you don't feel assured that you can figure it out, you know, take a photocopy of it. If you got a printer scanner, you can make a copy of it, write down the numbers that correspond to it, and in the instructions it tells you what number of window goes where, and you can go about it that way until you feel confident enough and you get enough experience where you just kind of wing it. Like what I've got here with my different piles, I just know what windows go where. Anyway, we're going to continue putting all these windows in, and then we'll come back to the camera here, and we'll work on putting in the steel rafters and putting the roof in and putting the roof detail on, and we'll be just about finished with this kit. Alright everyone, we are back. We got all the windows glued in, and we're getting ready to put the doors in here. If I can pick the thing up. Thank goodness. Okay, one thing I noticed, sometimes you want to make sure your parts are going to fit before you start gluing. If you'll notice, on these doors, they're longer than what the model is. I'm not exactly sure what the reason is behind that. But anyway, I'm going to trim these off on the bottom so they fit to the size of the doorway that we have. Yeah, we're going to cut these off. So I'm going to temporarily find its placement, and then make a mark with a pencil here as to where I want to cut it. Let's set this off to the side. Okay. Being that it's styrene, all we have to do is score it. So I'll get my X-Acto precision edge here, and we'll just actually. Alright. And we'll run it along here 2 or 3 times. Like that. And there. It snaps right off. You can keep this piece, or I'm going to put it in my recycle bin there, and we'll clean it up a little bit here with the file. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get a little bit of glue on here. Okay, and we'll go ahead and install the door. Another neat trick too, if you'd like to leave it open and have a piece of equipment coming out or something like that, you can always cut it a lot higher. And if you got like a forklift or something like that that's coming out of it, or a truck. And we'll also do the same thing on the other side. Actually, while that side's gluing, we'll wait for that side to dry. What we'll do is we're going to go ahead, now that we got all the windows in, we're going to put in our roof rafters. So we're just going to put a little bit of glue on the end here. And just a little dab on the corner. Okay. Move this so you can see. Get it into one corner, and you just got to make, pry the model out a little bit so you don't actually hit the paintwork that you've already got done. And now that we got it in there, we're going to move it just a little bit, make sure we get a good, this is another one where actually you could probably have, yeah, see there, that's why you got to be careful where you get your glue. As you can see right there, I just end up accidentally rubbing the paint right off. So we'll touch that up, and it's no big deal, it happens. And yeah, I'm going to use my plastic weld here. And that's the other thing too, you always got, yeah, one of my, I love this knife, it's just a flat blade, I believe it's their, what do they call it, number 17, or yeah, number 17 blade. Sometimes there's always a little bit of leftovers in some of these from the injection mold process. I'm not going to be able to get in there with that, so we'll go with the number 11. And clean that up a little bit. Alright, I'll put my glue in there like that. Do the same thing on the other side. And again, nice thing about plastic welder, it got a little bit of working time here. Alright, we'll do the same process that we did over there. Alright, there, snapped right into place there. That should hold just nicely. Okay, got everything all glued. We got both doors in. Now, I'm going to explain the door issue. They give you these doors here that would normally go in this end. They give you two of both. This one will not fit here. As you can see, it would be substantially taller, or you'd have a gap underneath. This one is meant for this one here. But I wanted roll-up doors on both ends, so by modifying that, we were able to have roll-ups on both ends. So that explains that. Okay, we are getting right down to the finish here on this model. We're going to go ahead and got one of the roof pieces here. I know, even though they're black, you're going to want to paint everything. Because even if you hit it with a flat coat to get rid of the shine, you're still going to see the plastic. It looks so much more professional with it painted. Alright, we're going to want to make sure we get this in the right orientation here because of our vents. We want to make sure that those are in the right position. Alright, so what we'll do is we're just going to test fit here. Make sure this is all going to, you'll have to kind of give it a little bit of a bend in the middle to be able to pop into place. Look at that. That just sits right in there nicely. Yeah, that'll be really, look really sharp. Yeah, it just snaps right in. There we go, just like that. Okay, now we'll take it back out we'll put in our glue. This one here, again, I'm going to be going back to the Fowler Expert Cement. And because there is a lot of surface to glue here. So now, one question that'll probably come up is, why don't I use super glue? Why am I using this Fowler Expert? Especially once you see what the price of it is. It's about $7 a bottle. But a bottle will last you quite a while. Super glue. One of the big issues with super glue, it doesn't actually sit there and chemically weld the plastic. But what I mean by chemically weld it, it just basically it does just that. It welds it together. It actually liquefies the plastic to the point, and then basically congeals the two, just like if you're welding steel. Anyway, super glue does not do that. And also, super glue, once dried, has a tendency to leave a nasty white residue. There's a few out there that don't. Super glue, CA cement, same thing. I reserve super glue for only when I'm gluing two unlike pieces together, such as plastic on brass or something like that. That's mostly what it ends up being, is plastic on brass. Anyway, so that's why I don't use super glue very often. What super glue do I use when I do use it? Loctite makes a good one, and so does Gorilla super glue. But you gotta be careful with this one. If you use too much, it will leave a white residue. Also, there's Fowler. They make different glues other than just this Expert Cement here. They also do I think it's like Super Expert or something like that. It's listed in the PDF file of which ones they have. I think it's called like Super Expert or something like that. And they also make one for wood structures as well. I have not used either one of those, but I am looking forward to getting some and trying it out. Alright, last but not least, this one gets a little tricky because it's got trying to fit it in on all four sides here. And get this bad boy put into place. So not only the corners, but we also got the peak. And yeah, don't worry if you get a little extra glue on the peak here. I just smooth it out with a finger because I'm going to mask it off and hit it again with more paint once it dries. I'll sit here and hold it for a couple minutes. While I'm sitting here holding it, I'll explain something else. People ask, what comes first, your track or the buildings for your scenery? Both. I know that's probably not the answer most people are looking for, but I'll explain myself. Such as with this kit, Walthers, you know, some of their kits, they really have, they really added a lot of nice details, so you can make a nice, good scene out of the building itself, instead of just the building sitting somewhere. In this case, while I'm holding it with one hand, I'll show you with this. What they also include here is, and I haven't painted it, and I didn't cover it in the build, but I will be using it. It is a under the track reservoir for coal unloading out of your hopper cars. Got a nice little grate right here that goes over it. They've got a couple grooves here, so you remove the ties from your rail. You super glue your rail right on top of this. Now the problem is, if you've already got your track laid, how are you going to cut your bench work out to include this down inside of it? Thus becomes the problem. Now, at the club, the track is already there, and I'll probably have to cut it out and to install that and put new rail in the small section. So this is one case where if I knew that, and I didn't even have it at the time, I did not realize that the kit actually came with this. So to me, this was like an extra bonus. So because of that, if I would have had this kit before we laid the track, I would have been able to prepare for this going in there. So it's not always going to work out. But at the same time, you can always try to do the best you can. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go over the center seam here with this plastic welder here, and just to make sure that I have got a good weld in here. I will be also adding lighting in this building as well. I don't have that here with me yet. I haven't ordered it. I'm going to be using some of the new products that are coming out are LED strips. They run on 12 volt, and you can get some that are, they call it waterproof versus non-waterproof. Waterproof has a silicone layer all over it. Doesn't make a difference. It just makes it a little bit cheaper. And you can cut it, and you'll see where you can cut them, but you can cut them down to a nice little strip about this long, and this long being about 3 inches, anywhere between 3 and 4 inches. So one little strip, and it's a little over 16 feet long, 5 meters. So one of these little things, you get a 16-foot strip, you can light up a lot of buildings. And the cool thing about LED, they don't generate any heat whatsoever. So that really makes them really nice. And it's supposed to last for, like 50,000 hours or something like that. Anyway, those are bought off of eBay, out of a guy from China. 16-foot roll is $20, and that with free shipping. So don't expect them right away. It'll take a couple weeks, but they're pretty nice. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to go through and glue all of our roof vents on. Also, once we get done with this, I am going to touch up a couple spots I see that I missed with paint, and such as where I messed up on the top edge here, and I'll touch up the center line here on our roof once the glue dries, because I'll hit it with my the nail file to try to remove that seam, because I don't want to see the seam. Then, once we're done with that, you're going to want to blast the entire thing with flat paint, or with a flat clear coat. That protects the paint. Eventually, I'll either make a sign that's on top, or maybe above the door here, but of the name of the power plant. I'm also going to put the name on the smokestack as well. I'm actually going to paint individual bricks on that. Let's keep gluing these on. Now when this is done, I am not going to glue this building to the base. I'm actually going to add some pieces to the base so my buildings are removable. Reason for that is the layout gets dusty, and then buildings need to be cleaned. It's a lot easier to be able to pick the building up, remove it off the layout, and clean it, and then place it back on the layout. You can easily do that by using styrene strip here by Evergreen Scale Models. This is 199, quarter inch by quarter inch. But anyway, you put these, you can get these, even though you got your base, I'm going to end up putting them on the inside here. And basically it keeps your building from sliding side to side and forward and backwards. You don't need to put a whole strip, you just put you know, periodic ones. You can put a whole strip, there's nothing wrong with that. Just save on material. Seems like Evergreen's prices keep going up and up and up. Especially since they just got bought out. And new companies now manufacturing that. Also on the smokestack, you'll notice I added some blackness up here. I mean, it was a coal burner, so it's going to be dirty. Again, just a little bit of weathering. I do a lot of my weathering by both either makeup, MAC makeup, and get it at Macy's, or I airbrush, especially when it comes to using black to use for soot. All right, there's our model. After I, yeah, pretty much this is, I mean, it's complete. You can, let's see here, put it on the base here. All right. Oh, there we go. Now it's sitting on the base. Kind of. Not wanting to cooperate. There we go. Now it looks like it. Kind of get an idea where the smokestack's going. Right about there. And we have got ourselves the Northern Light and Power model done. I hope you guys found this very beneficial, and happy model railroading. And always remember, take your time. This model here probably took me 10 hours in all, maybe not even that long. But as you become more and more proficient with the model, with building models, you'll become faster and faster at it. It's not a rush. It's about making your investment on this one structure looking the best that it can. Because it represents you and your layout. And it also represents you as a modeler. Anyway, again, I hope you enjoyed, and you have a good night. Anyway, move some of this debris here. Okay, we got done gluing everything. I am going to put a little bit of extra glue. Remember, this Fuller Expert cement has styrene in it. So there's just a tad little teeny tiny crack of a gap in there. So I put it in there. I'm going to let that dry. I'll end up sanding it down and then repainting that part of it. I'll mask it all off with painter's tape. And so I don't want to be able to see that peak in, while you're looking at the model. Remember that your models, that's mostly what model railroaders, and when visitors come to your layout, that's what they're going to see is the tops. Just the way it is. We look at layouts with a bird's eye view. Anyway, here we go. Kind of get an idea where the smokestack's going to be. Remember, with putting these models together, you've already made the investment in buying it. Take the time to do it and do a good job. Because not only does it represent you as a modeler, but it's something you can be proud of the work that you've done. One thing I did forget to mention, the interior of the windows. You can use these. There's nothing wrong with them. I don't. I know I said I'm putting this kit together without any extras. This is probably the one thing that I do extra. just because these things are extremely thick. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with them. You can definitely use them. But what I do is use Evergreen's clear sheet of styrene that they have. It's thinner, easier to work with, and yeah, I just put a few dabs of glue on the outside edge of the window on the inside, and then carefully place the piece on there, because once your glass is put down, do not move it, because otherwise it'll streak and it'll look bad. It won't look clear. Now, some buildings, and that's if you want to be able to see inside of it, some buildings the windows are frosted. So what you want to do is you go ahead and put the windows in, and then when you're painting it flat, which I haven't done yet, I got to spray paint this entire model with a flat coat to protect it. I'll also hit the windows in from the back side. You'll actually hit them from the front side too. Actually, you don't want to. Let me recant that. Wait on the windows, hit it all with flat. Then once it's done, put the windows in, and if you want them frosted, go back on the inside, not on the outside, because you want that shine of the glass when you look at it from the outside. Then from the inside, spray the flat finish around, and it'll frost all of the windows in there. And that works either way, with the ones that come with it, or if you use the Evergreen styrene sheet. That's all I can think of. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from it, and we'll look forward to other my other classes that I'll be taping. My next one is Structures 102. It's when you start getting into more detailed oriented, as well as more difficult kits such as DPMs, wood kits, and for an example, wood kits like Campbell models. Those are fairly complicated to put together. And DPM too, just because of the way they are. They're not really hard to put together, but there's different details with them with this. So look forward to that video. That probably won't be for quite some time, because I still haven't given the clinic yet. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed.